friend, my brother, it has been way too long. In fact, if I'm thinking, it could have been like 3.5 years. The last time I saw you, you were here in Toronto, excuse me, and we did our interview over at Sirius. And I think
Yeah.
that was the last time I saw you, man. And it may have been even longer than that. It actually
What?
could have
That
been
was 2018. That was on yeah, like that was like October 2018, maybe.
something like that. Yeah.
Almost 4 years, yeah, 4 years ago.
Way too
Wow,
long, man. Way
that
too
is too.
long.
How you
But
been?
I've been good, man. I've been good. How have you been holding up throughout this whole pandemic and everything else? Because I know in your neck of the woods, you guys actually did really well. And in fact, I talked to a lot of artists from up there,
Mm.
and it's funny because the attitude was, okay, we're good. We don't need any of you guys coming down to us and
Yeah,
bringing anything because we're taking care of ourselves.
yeah. I think it started like that. You know what I mean? People's attitude was just like, okay, we have no cases here, shut it down. And then, you notice that people, there's still 20 flights a day coming in. You see people coming. I think by the end of it, we were kind of like, all right, I'm done with this safe Maritimes thing. I want to go see the rest of the world now. So, at first it was nice to have that safety net. It was like, we're down the East Coast. No one's coming down here. We're safe. And then it was kind of like, okay, let's get over this and move on. We played it safe and we did what we were supposed to do for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, gate, but it didn't feel like we got to enjoy a lot of that fruits of the labor because we still stayed locked down just as long as anybody else. So, depending who you talk to, could be a good thing or a bad thing. But I'm just glad everyone I know is safe. I don't know anybody that was affected long term of COVID. Thank God. Um, and here we are. I hope it's over, but I don't hear the news talk about it as much, but I know it's still out there. So it's a confusing thing, man. I got confused in the last 2 years. I think that's the best way to put it is
I,
confused of what and how we're handling stuff, and you see things and like, okay, put my hands up and go. I don't know what's going on.
no, I agree with you there with the confusion. Musically, though, did it change you in any way? I mean, as I'm sitting here, I'm watching you behind with the studio. I know a lot of artists who had to literally live off of Amazon and rebuild studios in their
Mm.
homes to the point where their closets became their sound booths and things like that.
Yeah,
Professionally, and even the way you looked at the world in writing music, did any of that change during the pandemic?
100%. I think it was the first time in my life that I stopped coming to the studio, like which is in behind my garage. It's part of my house, but I just wasn't motivated. When COVID first hit in, I was like, okay, we're shut down. This can't last more than a month. No one in this world's going to shut down for a month. Like, and that was my whole thing to the friends. Like, let's just enjoy this. There's no way the hell the world's going to let it be like this for any longer than a month. After 2 months of that, me just kind of waiting, then I started feeling the effects of not making progress, not having purpose every day, just kind of being like, what are we doing now? You know what I mean? And that started to affect me. That's when I started to notice a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of depression, which isn't something I've really dealt with very much in my life. And as soon as I started getting back into the studio and go, let me just go make a beat or let's go do this, it was like all that shit lifted off. And I've realized being creative, being out in the studio and having purpose, even before COVID is what keeps me straight. It's what keeps my head going and doesn't let my mind wander on all this negative shit. It stays focused on this is the song I'm working on. I'm trying to think of some lyrics for this. And yeah, so that was what I noticed was just finding that purpose and realizing how important, not just because it's my job, not because it pays my bills, but just for my own sanity, it is to be creative and keep working on music.
Well, that's one of the big things that we are going to talk about because you, my brother, have new music, which I am so proud to hear about. But it's not just that, too. As we speak, this interview is going to go up just before Canada Day. And I want to remind people that you created a Canada Day song several years ago that
Yeah,
still gets played and is considered really one of the most best representations of the red and white. Can you talk a bit about that? Because I love the video also.
yeah, I wrote that song. It's funny because I toured Canada, did so many shows in Canada, and I wrote that song when I went and toured Europe with Royce 59 and D12, and then went to Australia with Hilltop Hoods and all these different groups. And seeing people's perspective of Canada. You know, I mean, this might have even before Drake blew up. So they're like, "You're a Canadian rapper? What the hell?" You know what I mean? Everyone kind of laugh a little bit, and it was like, okay. And then, you know, just even small things, life things, not even on the music side. So I was like, man, when I get home, I'm sampling the national anthem, putting some hard drums behind it, and I'm gonna write like what Canada is to me and the things I think we represent, and the things we brought to the rest of the world. Where, you know, sometimes the rest of the world likes to look at Canada and laugh a little bit about whatever it is, but we've done a lot of great things. I still think we live in one of the greatest countries in the world, and you know, I'm proud to be from Canada. So that was me representing.
You know, when you look back and you listen to the song and you watch the video, are you proud at the fact too that after, you know, years of doing it and you look at it now, it still holds up? Not always songs from back then hold up. This still does. And it actually, it's almost like it was almost like a, how do I put this? You kind of back then made a little touch of what was going to happen in the future and how we were going to look at ourselves.
Yeah, no, and like that's, you know, not to bring it full circle, but that's what I've noticed with this retrospected album, this acoustic throwback album, is taking these old songs from 10, 15 years ago and realizing these lyrics are timeless. Like, it wasn't just that this song worked in 2008. I can put it out now and people are hearing it, younger generations are hearing it and going, oh, you know, and they think it's a brand new song, which to me, that's like the most crazy stuff. That shows that like I'm making music that can last 50, 60 years. And, you know, as an artist, I think that's one of the things that makes artists more proud than anything, is they can make timeless music. So
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why I'm so happy with you and this music coming out, because during the pandemic, if there was anything for me, I really went back old school on a lot of things. In fact, I was downloading a lot of songs that I was trying to remember. Did I forget this, forget that, whatever? Even though I had all my vinyl, of course, you got to put it on your phone and stuff like that. And you know, it's what made me feel good back then and still makes me feel good. It helped me through the pandemic. This is what I feel like and what you've done. So let's get to it, man. My brother, what is the new music that we are talking about that you're representing today?
This is the first, as far as I know, first ever acoustic hip hop album. You know, I don't think anybody's, I'm a hardcore hip hop head. I paid attention since 1993. So as far as I know, no one's ever did an album like this. And at first it started as just like, let's make a song or two like this. You know, I'd always take certain songs and do like a live version on the internet after we put it out and just strip it down with either my keyboard player or guitar player. And that's what it all started from. And then we did a couple shows like that where it's me sitting down with my drum machine, my guitar player, keyboard player, and we do an hour and a half show sitting down, everyone's sitting down. And coming from where I come from, where it's like, you know, I'm used to playing at 11 o'clock at night, everybody's drinking, the club's pumping, the bass is hard. It was a total flip for me. So we did those shows and I'm just seeing emotions in the crowd, which I usually don't see on my typical, you know, I'm seeing people laughing, I'm seeing people crying, I'm seeing people, you know, just whatever it is. And that was something I never experienced. And when I saw that, I was like, man, let's go back and take some of these songs, you know, some of the hits, but some of the songs that never had videos, some songs that were just kind of like B-sides on the album, but I think had some like, you know, lyrics that could hit some people these days. So we, you know, we went back, put down the guitar tracks, re-recorded all the vocals. And then I wanted to make it even specialer. So I'm like, I'm going to my list of artists that I've met over the last 20 years in Canada and asking, you know, Jan Arden to sing this, or Julie Black to sing this, or, you know, even Mercury's Nevaeh Mighty, having them to write a new verse for these old songs. And it was cool that way because I like collaborating, and to take these older songs and have these other artists lend their voice and you know, sometimes lend their lyrics as well. It just brought a whole new life to this music that to me is like, I thought it was dead and gone, you know, 10, 15 years ago. And now it's back up and people are hearing it for the first time sometimes. So
No, and I love that, because one of the things I've always said was, when you, this is the best way to know if a song is really good. Yeah, you have the beats and everything else, but when you break it down to our acoustic and vocal, and you can touch somebody who is sitting way over there, that's when you know you've got a good song. My brother, you just proved you got a lot of great tracks.
Thank you. Yeah, but you're right, man. If you can make those goosebump moments, that's what I call it. You know what I mean? You say some stuff, and like you said, you take the drums, you take the rhythm out of it, and it's just about the lyrics. The lyrics and the chords, basically. You can hold the chord there. There's no rhythm, and you can give that feeling to someone. It feels right.
Do we have a single right now that is being pushed on radio?
Well, Inner Ninja Retrospected, which is,
My
Inner Ninja
favorite.
me to do. Like I did it over first, acoustically, and it didn't work right. And I was like, maybe we won't put this on the album. And then I went to Maze, and Matt Maze turned it into like a campfire jam. And, he sent it over to me. I redid my vocals, added some stuff. So that was the one that we're a radio with right now. That's the most upbeat, throw this on summer jam kind of song, where the other ones are a little bit more chill, more reflecting back. Like you said, with COVID, I think that's another reason why I put this album now is COVID gave time people to reflect back, gave people time to, chill out. And like you said, go back to old music, bring back these old memories that, before COVID, life just kept going. So you'd always be catching up. You never had that time to chill out and reflect. So that's what a lot of these songs are, reflection songs. But yeah, to go to your question, Inner Ninja is the Retrospected is the single over now.
That song, when you look back at it, I mean, it tore up the charts when it was released. But the other thing was, did you realize it was going to become such an anthem for people who were feeling down and out? They hear the song, they see the video, they feel the vibe of inspiration and giving them that moment of going, yes, I can.
I didn't. I'll be 100% honest. I know when me and Dave were in the studio, we knew we had something special. We had something quirky, something that stood out. Like I was like, this doesn't sound like anything I've heard before, which is what caught my ear. And then hearing I hear people saying like, that's my workout song. I put that on, I hit the gym, or, even kids saying the same thing, whether it's like on some getting bullied type thing and, having that strength to dig in and stand up. I didn't realize it as much until it came out. And then I started hearing from people, and then it was like, oh, okay. I didn't think of it that way. But when they tell me and I listen to it, I'm like, oh, I see why you take it that way. And that's one thing I love about music is I have in my mind what this song is and what it represents, but people can take it any way they want. And I love hearing their feedback on stuff like that.
The thing that I've always been proud of you, and I've always mentioned this in our interviews, was even before the first time you and I did any interviews, I remember having to get up at 3 a.m. when I was in radio to get in for my morning shift, and I would put it on Much Music, and your videos were only played like 2, 3 in the morning.
Oh, you know?
Yeah, and I would watch your videos, and I always said, damn, this guy is good. And then finally we did our interview together, and I watched from back then to where you progressed to the point where I can say to you the godfather of the East Coast, because you have not only, become such a great representation of Canadian music, but you help so many artists in producing, writing, just giving advice and going, do this and do that. And, Ria May is like a great example. How does it feel, man, knowing not just your progression and when I first saw you, to watching the artists that you have worked with and watching them progress and being Juno Award nominees and winners and, being able to tour the world?
Sometimes that's more exciting for me than getting my own accolades, because I love working with new young artists. Like I had an artist in here yesterday, brand new artist. We made this killing song and they're so excited. And they're like, I can't wait for everyone to hear this. And for me, I kind of know the process when I put out a record and you might do this. We got to do that. We got to do this. When you see a young artist and they just come to the studio and all they care about the music. We were in here yesterday, 5-6 hours, and they're leaving it like they're on top of the world. When I leave a studio, I'm going, was this right? Shit, did I do this right? Probably go back and change that. But when you get that feeling from other artists and just see that excitement, it's hard to compare. And on the same flip side of it, I learned so much from these other artists. Working with Ria May, working with other rappers and just these other young artists and seeing how they do things, seeing how they approach songs. So as much as I'm kind of giving them a hand and lending advice, even though they might not know it all the time, they're helping me so much. Even the motivation I get from young artists is like that's the stuff that's like, yeah, let's get going. Let's get in here and start working. And it's hard to get that from an artist that's been around for 20, 30 years sometimes.
And you just proved it again because, as I always said, doesn't matter how old we get, we can always learn. Even from the
Yep.
youngsters, we can
That's
always
the
learn.
keep young. As soon as you stop learning, that's when you start getting old.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Are you going to be touring this album? Any chance you're going to be coming down in Southern Ontario for us?
Yes, we are coming October, end of October, November. We're doing 25 dates across Canada. Like I said, it's all theaters,
Mhm.
sit down shows, bring your wife out, bring your girl, your husband, bring your mom and dad, whatever. Like I find this show is a very the few times we did it, it's a show that I can do for a hardcore fan or someone who doesn't know my music at all. And they're just like, what's this about? Some acoustic hip hop. You come out and we'll put on a show and you'll be entertained. I guess let's say that.
Okay, as we're wrapping this up, I've been asking this a lot of artists like yourself because I know this is actually the time when this might happen. Are you recording a Christmas song or album? Because usually this is the time to do it for it to happen in the holidays.
I'm not,
Are,
but one of my boys was recording one last week and I was with him and David Miles, actually. I'm not going to say what this, I was like, it's time, eh? But no, I put out a Christmas song not last year, the year before, called "The Bells Are Ringing." So that was like, okay, my Christmas song, and I'm pretty proud of that one too. So that's what I'm just gonna put out. Maybe I'll shoot a video every year just to give it a new fresh. Every Christmas, new video.
I love it, man. Well, look, as we speak, like I said, Happy Canada Day.
Yes,
Um, and if anything, I want to say thank you so much for the years upon years of interviews, great music, great conversation, and most importantly, great inspiration, my friend, because you are
thank you.
definitely an inspiration for this country. Thank you again.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you, man. Always good to talk, man.